haze and all still in the sky, seems like. Doesn't seem too bad heat-wise. Although I guess the first thing I saw today, at first I thought this was heat-related, where you see this, there was a dog, and they were giving it oxygen, but apparently it was due to a fire. But still, just seeing this in video is kind of crazy. It says, fast and effective work by Vancouver firefighters at a fire in South Vancouver over the weekend. Here, crews are providing oxygen to a pet pulled out of the fire. I suppose they literally had to carry the dog out. It was probably unconscious or something like that. But either way, good save. And how about this one? Sounds like it was a user error, but it says drone slams into building in World Trade Center complex. Pilot in custody. A drone struck a skyscraper in the World Trade Center complex and became lodged on the building's facade Monday afternoon, landing the operator in custody. Law enforcement sources told the Post. The gizmo crashed into 7 World Trade Center around 5 p.m. and ended up wedged between window panels outside the 3rd floor of the 52-story Lower Manhattan building, sources said. Workers attempted to remove it Monday afternoon. The drone pilot, who is from Texas, was taken into custody by the Port Authority Police Department, sources said. Now, according to the interview, he was trying to get an orbit shot, and so I guess he brought it up. Maybe he used the automatic mode, and without actually judging the distance properly, I guess you could say, it was a little too late. I personally never trust those automated modes still. Any types of shots, whether it's, for example, fly backwards, get a shot, or the orbits, I'd rather do it manually still. Ultimately, it was told to him too that they could recover the drone, but that it would probably cost him 6 figures in terms of hiring, I guess, the right people and equipment to actually get it down and all that. And so eventually he just said, "I'll forget it. It's not worth it overall, like for anybody." From the sounds of it too, they determined there was no, I guess, malicious intent or anything like that. It wasn't a terrorist attack. So I'm guessing he'll probably just get a fine or something like that just for violating. I'm guessing just from all the other stories I read, like they have all these strict laws about flying a drone and all that. For myself, whenever I hear the word World Trade Center, I keep thinking of that September 11th event. It makes me wonder, for people who actually live there, is that still fresh on everyone's mind? So in this case, if they hear something like whatever, a drone crashing into a building, they'll probably think of that incident with an airplane crashing into it. And then reading this made me wonder if this is actually an issue of interpretation, whether or not, like here in Canada, people interpret it one way, maybe people in the US would interpret it the other. This one here says, "We never want to lose to Canada. US players, media reacts to Canada's win." Apparently it dealt with the Olympics, and it says Team Canada defeated Team USA in the semi-final of the Olympic women's soccer tournament on Monday, setting the stage for the Canadians to challenge for gold later this week. Considering the dominance of the US women's national team over the past several years, not to mention their 20-year win streak against Canada, the 1-0 outcome was a bit of a stunner for many watching the match. But apparently it was this comment that generated the controversy, I guess, from one of their players about the loss. It says, following the game, veteran US forward Megan Rapinoe blamed too many errors made by her club, saying, "Obviously, we never want to lose to Canada. It's terrible. We just didn't have it today," Rapinoe said after the match. "Just too many errors from us again. I felt like the space was there for us to play and we just couldn't get into it." So then here comes the quote that was emphasized. It says, "So yeah, it's a bitter one to swallow. Obviously, we never want to lose to Canada. I don't think I've ever lost to Canada." So I can see you can kind of interpret it in 2 ways. One is just a person in general saying they just don't like to lose in general. You don't expect to lose. Or 2, it's one of those things where it's kind of like arrogance. You're saying, "We're so much better than them. They suck. We don't want to lose to like a bunch of, I don't know, crappy players and all that." So which one would you actually interpret that as with that comment? Because from the sounds of it, people here in Canada would interpret that more in the negative side, where they're being very unsportsmanlike, very arrogant. It makes me wonder what people interpret that as down in the US when they read a quote like that. Seems like one of these things where sports should be bringing people together, but it's creating what, division and conflict? Alright, see you guys later.